You see this logo every day, but you have no idea what it's hiding. The real story of Coca-Cola isn't about happiness and refreshment. It's about drug addiction, a brilliant marketing heist, and a screw-up so big, it literally saved the company. We're gonna break down the 5 secrets they don't want you to know.
So how did a knockoff cure, cooked up by a morphine addict, become the single most powerful brand on the planet? Yeah, you heard that right. Coca-Cola wasn't born in some moment of genius to quench your thirst. It was a desperate attempt to kick a drug habit.
All right, here's the roadmap. We're diving into 5 secrets. First, how it was a drug, not a drink. Second, the marketing heist that built the empire. Then, the billion-dollar mistake that accidentally made them a juggernaut. Fourth, their war profiteering playbook. Yeah, we're going there. And finally, the massive failure that proved to be their greatest success.
Okay, let's get right into it. Secret number 1. This was never supposed to be a drink. Forget global beverage, think patent medicine, a potent tonic cooked up out of sheer desperation by a Civil War vet with a serious problem.
So get this, the story starts in 1865. A Civil War vet named John Pemberton gets hooked on morphine. He's desperate. So in 1884, he rips off this popular French drink called Vin Mariani, basically cocaine and wine. But then, whoops, Prohibition hits Atlanta in '86. He's got to take the wine out. What's left is this weird syrup. And then, completely by accident, it gets mixed with carbonated water. And just like that, Coca-Cola is born. It's a knockoff of a knockoff created by accident.
And what was in this secret formula? Well, it was a pretty powerful cocktail. You had coca leaves, which, yes, contained cocaine. You had cola nuts for a serious caffeine kick. It was literally marketed as a brain tonic, something to cure your headaches and exhaustion. You wouldn't buy this at a soda fountain, you'd get it at the pharmacy. So Pemberton creates the thing, but the poor guy dies completely broke and forgotten. The formula was useless without the right person to sell it, and that person was a ruthless businessman named Asa Candler. This is where the story gets really interesting.
Candler saw the potential, and for just $2,300, let me say that again, $2,300, he bought the entire formula. That's less than a beat-up used car today. He basically stole a $1 trillion empire before it even existed. It's got to be one of the greatest business heists of all time.
Candler's playbook was pure genius, and companies still copy it today. Step 1, make the brand inescapable. He plastered that logo on everything. Clocks, calendars, even the sides of barns. You couldn't look anywhere without seeing it. Step 2, the free sample. He gave away coupons for a free glass, knowing that one taste was all it would take to hook you for life. And step 3, the rebrand. He totally shifted the narrative from a medicine for sick people to a refreshing drink for absolutely everyone. All right, here's the value drop. The first brands to truly conquer the world didn't sell a product, they sold a presence. You gotta understand this. Scarcity is for luxury brands, right? Like a Rolex. But ubiquity, being everywhere, that's how you build an empire.
Now you'd think Candler was a genius who couldn't miss, right? Wrong. He made one of the single worst deals in business history, a mistake that should have completely destroyed the company. But in a wild twist of fate, it's the very thing that set them on the path to global domination.
So what was this massive mistake? He sold the exclusive US bottling rights for $1, a single buck. See, in 1899, Candler thought bottling was just a stupid fad that would never last. So to get a couple of annoying lawyers out of his office, he basically signed away the keys to the kingdom. And this $1 deal immediately created a disaster. Copycats popped up everywhere, selling fake Coke in generic straight-sided bottles. They were losing a ton of money. So, to solve the problem, the bottlers came up with an idea. They needed a bottle so unique, so distinct, you could recognize it even if it was smashed to pieces on the floor. And that's how we got the iconic Contour bottle, one of the most valuable pieces of branding on Earth, all because of a terrible $1 deal.
All right, secret number 4. This is where the story gets dark. Coca-Cola's global empire wasn't just built on smart marketing. It was built on the back of World War II, using a brilliant and ruthless playbook to get American taxpayers to fund their global expansion.
It all started with this promise from Coke's president, Robert Woodruff. He said, "Every man in uniform gets a bottle of Coca-Cola for 5 cents, wherever he is and whatever it costs our company." I mean, how patriotic is that? It was a genius move. Suddenly, Coke wasn't just a soda. It was a piece of home, a symbol of America you could hold in your hand on the front lines.
But here's the kicker. Coke brilliantly argued that their drink was essential for troop morale, and the US government bought it, hook, line, and sinker. The result? The government paid to build 64 brand new bottling plants all over the world. So when the war ended, guess what? Coca-Cola just happened to have a ready-made global infrastructure, all paid for by you, the taxpayer. Absolutely brilliant.
But it gets even crazier. While Coke was wrapping itself in the American flag, its German division was still operating in Nazi Germany. Coca-Cola was literally served at Hitler Youth rallies, and when the war made it impossible to get the syrup from the US, the head of Coke in Germany got creative. He invented a totally new drink from leftover food scraps, apple fibers, whey, whatever he could find. You know what that drink was called? Fanta. And after the war, every single cent of profit Fanta made in Nazi Germany went straight back to Coca-Cola headquarters in Atlanta.
Okay, on to the final secret, and this one might be the most important of all. It's the story of a complete and total panic, a marketing disaster of epic proportions that, against all odds, revealed the true source of Coca-Cola's power.
So flash forward to the 1970s. Pepsi comes along with this thing called the Pepsi Challenge. They're doing blind taste tests all over the country, and the results were a total nightmare for Coca-Cola. Consistently, more people actually preferred the taste of Pepsi. This sent Coke's executives into a full-blown panic.
So, in their panic, they did the one thing everyone thought was impossible. In 1985, they killed their 99-year-old formula. They threw it in the trash and launched New Coke, a sweeter, smoother formula that was scientifically designed to crush Pepsi in those taste tests. And it was a catastrophe, an absolute train wreck. People went ballistic. They didn't just dislike it, they felt betrayed. The company was getting thousands of angry phone calls a day. It was a full-on public revolt. And after just 79 days of pure chaos, they were forced to surrender and bring back the original, now calling it Coca-Cola Classic.
But here is the most incredible part of the entire story. In their own internal blind taste tests, what do you think came in first place? New Coke. What came in second? Pepsi. And what came in dead last? The original Coca-Cola. Think about that. The public literally rioted to bring back the drink that they scientifically liked the least. It makes no sense, or does it?
And that's the ultimate secret, right there. It was never ever about the taste. Coca-Cola doesn't sell a product, it sells an emotion, it sells a memory, it sells an identity. The brand itself is infinitely more powerful than the brown, sugary liquid inside the bottle.
So it leaves you with this one final thought. If the most successful product on earth has almost nothing to do with the product itself, what are you really buying every single day? When you choose a brand, any brand, what's the story you're actually buying into? That right there is the secret to everything.